What's up, everybody? Thralls Metal here once again. I'm Necrotic Nick.
I'm Jammin John.
And we have yet another album review for you, and one that I was eager to go over, and one that also involves the word witch. A little bit of a theme this week,
Yeah,
I guess.
right.
Whatever. So we're going to go over the latest offering from Wormwitch with their album Wormwitch. Another self-titled one, too. Another theme there we got. This also comes on the 26th of July on Profound Lore Records. This band was formerly on Prosthetic Records for a while, which I didn't even really notice that they kind of changed labels because both of those begin with a P. This band formed in 2015 in Vancouver. This is their fourth album overall. I own their three previous ones. I've been a fan since their debut, Strike Mortal Soil, and at least in the first three, this was kind of a combination of like black metal and crust punk. There was a lot of D beats, and it was just, kind of like filthy, and I don't know, like there was like a punky swagger to it, but it also had, of course, like tons of black metal riffs, tremolos, that cold atmosphere. But this one was a bit different overall. This one, I would say, leans way heavier on the black metal side, and man, this band, I almost feel like they even got heavier.
Yeah, this is absolutely ferocious. Now, surprise, surprise, I'd never heard this band. You know what's weird? Is we've been at this channel now almost 6 years. And coming into it, I thought I knew a lot, and I realized I didn't. And then 6 years later, now I know a ton more, and I still don't know any. So I don't get it, but yeah, absolutely ferocious music.
Compared to the first three albums, this one just feels blastier, almost more like apocalyptic, like the opening track, Fugitive Serpent. You get a turnover, and then it is blasts, tremolos. It sounds just dark and chaotic.
And dense, like incredibly dense. Like there is not a free bit of space in this sound. To me, it almost sounded grindy. Like it is a shit fit out of the gate.
Yeah, I mean, like production-wise, maybe like, minus like some HM2 snarl, like there's, in terms of like the overall cacophony of sound you get, it's almost like a Nails album. Like it is just dense and thick, lots of dissonance, lots of this layered guitars. The drums on here are just a battering ram at all times. This is a very blasty album, almost from start to finish. You get like pockets of groove and like some slightly different riffs every now and then, but this is a lot of blast, tremolo, and just an outright sinister but also aggressive sort of vibe to this.
Yeah, I feel tired for the drummer. I felt tired from him in the first 30 seconds. Either this dude has 3 legs or something is bionic. I'm not 100%, but I mean, it's cooking like all the time. But then the other cool thing is not only is it so fast and caustic and dense, but it's mean sounding. Like the track Godmagen, I think I'm saying that right. I'm not 100%. I'm not really sure what that word is.
I've never said that word
before. It's not
before.
important. My first thought is, Jesus, where's the fire? Or the track Envenomed. Again, very speedy. Whether it's D-beats or blasts, like there's no slowdown whatsoever.
Yeah, and this is pretty much dimed energy almost at all times. You get like brief spots, again, of like, kind of groovier breakdowns, so they kind of just slow down the beat a bit, kind of sticking with the tremolos for the most part, but there's like a cool feature in here where they'll switch up to like almost a more thrashy delivery on the guitars, like more palm-muted machine gun riffs, and they're essentially kind of playing the same melodies, except they're kind of just thrashing up, but they will kind of give you a breakdown every now and then before inevitably going back into blast beats, and again, this just wall-to-wall dense sound, and so dense that I don't know if there's that much room for the vocals, because the vocals sit really far back in the mix. It's like they put the vocalist inside of a cave and then put the mic outside of the cave. It's like, all right, scream. But there's also quite a bit of melody in here, like the beginning of Inner Wars, this very, I don't know, it's dark, but it's like this kind of pleasant acoustic melody. It's kind of folky sounding, and it leads into, I would say, like one of the more sinister but melodic tracks. Like I got fierce Dissection vibes on there, like Storm of the Light's Bane, all over the place. The song is just absolutely loaded with killer black metal riffs and a profound sense of melody. The melody really drives that, but the way it's presented is this very dissonant, kind of just chaotic sound. Even at the end, even though this band has been playing faster than hell up to this point, they kick it up a notch at the end to kind of, get into that Marduk kind of gear. Just like blast and just deliver the most evil, religion-hating riffs possible. Like those riffs alone sound like they probably have some felonies.
And it's not without dynamic either. There are a bunch of groovy pockets and very riffy moments. The first 3 songs, Fugitive Serpent, Envenomed, and The Helm and the Bow, all have groovy pockets in them. And then you get down to songs, again, like God Megan, I'm not sure. I don't know. Yeah, they've got a breakdown in that song that is just downright gross. Super bendy, almost sludgy. And then songs like Worm's Blood and Necromancy, that's just a stomper. Like, that's straight punch your buddy in the face, kick a chair moment.
Yeah, like probably the closest you get to like almost a more like, Celtic Frost kind of vibe to it. It's easily like the slowest track on there in terms of like just like a heavier, meaner track. Like, it's got a different sort of attitude to it. Like, there's a little bit of like sleaze to it.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing I really like about it is while it kind of stays in this mid-tempo vibe, this album definitely wants to go fast, and I like how it builds into that. Like, there's a lot of dissonant harmonies on it, and there's this whole break where everything kind of drops out. You get this kind of like drum and bass with like an atmospheric sort of, like guitar part, and you get some tribal drums that come in, the energy starts welling up, it starts sounding more sinister, like whatever's chasing you is officially getting closer now and is about to bite a hole in your throat, and then it just blasts off. Like, it just goes absolutely nuts for like the remaining 40 seconds of the song. And I mean, like, part of me was like, hey, you could have kept it groovy, but at the same time, this whole album just has a fiercely intense vibe. So yeah, this album is blasty as hell, but those intermittent moments where they kind of get outside of that are pretty cool, and I think they actually add some really interesting dynamics. Like the end of God Megan, whatever it is, there's like this really cool atmospheric drum and bass groove with like this kind of like fun hitch in terms of the cymbal work. Like, it's got kind of a swing to it.
It's almost got, to me at least, it had kind of like some post-metal vibes, like the ocean per se, something like that. Yeah, it was weird. I did not expect that to be the final tag on that song, because normally when they end songs, they're, jackhammering, but not in this case.
Yeah, it was definitely an interesting turn, and then when you get down to the interlude, I guess this would be like the side B on the vinyl or tape, whatever you got. I recommend the CD, that's me. But anyway, you get Salamander, which is this folky interlude, which I really wasn't expecting, even though, Inner War had this acoustic start. I figured that was something to kind of kick off the song. And I really didn't look at the track times, and when Salamander came on, I was like, all right, is this kind of like building into a heavier song? I was like, no, this is surprisingly light and very like traditionally folky. Like, there's light percussion in it, and I could have sworn I heard like some chimes and rattling, like they made an instrument out of like orc bones or something like that. Well, it does have like sort of that vibe, because like the first 4 tracks, you are in Mordor.
Yes.
Like, everything's coming at you. There are giant spiders and dragons and balrogs and all that fun shit coming after you just to devour you and tear you limb from limb. And then when you hit Salamander, you have entered town and you're about to get a pint at a local pub and maybe buy some wares for the rest of your journey, because it is like a dead stop on all the evil right there.
Yeah, we're talking like hobbits, and there's a cajon and a jambe, and they're smoking the peace pipe, and it's a great time. Definitely unlike literally anything else that's on the record.
And after the interlude, it does take a bit of a shift in terms of the music. Like, Worm's Blood Necromancy is one of the most different songs on there. We brought up it as notably more groovy. It's kind of sleazy. It's, again, got a little bit of that Celtic Frost energy to it. But when you get down to Bright and Poisonous, this song, as well as Envenom, kind of have like the only callbacks to their older sound, where it definitely had more of a crust punk influence to it. This one, you got some galloping D beats, and I like how it alternates between those and then like tremolos and blast beats. It's got a punky, aggressive attitude throughout. That whole song is a barn burner, even down to the more hardcore-ish breakdown, which honestly, that was probably the only moment I would say that kind of had like more of a hardcore punch to it. The rest of the album feels way more centered on black metal, but they do it like really well.
Actually, I thought Bright and Poisonous reminded me a lot of Midnight.
Faster.
Yep, faster, and more hardcore energy too, except for the end again where they're aggro blasting, because why wouldn't you throw that in at this point? Everything after the tribal jam in town where they're buying potions and whatnot, yeah, it does take a turn. I think it gets just a little bit more dynamic at that point.
Yeah, the last track, Draconic Sorceress Canadian Witch Knights. I feel like that was like maybe the working title for the band years ago. It was like, you know what? The logo is going to be a giant pain in the ass to make.
Right. There's no way we're putting this on a shirt and selling them for $20. This is going to be a 25er.
Yeah, our logo is just going to look like a tree. But that caps off the album just flat out black metal. Like, it is like almost kind of like a Watain song. Like, it's epically evil. It's so catchy and melodic, but it's also sinister as hell. And that's sort of the mood on this entire thing. Like, this whole album does a good job of balancing out like that wall of dissonant sound where you get that heavy strumming and heavy tremolos, but there's also flecks of melody all throughout. There's some really solid solos on here too. But this also does a great job of maintaining a dark, aggressive energy. There's a vibe on here where every song feels like very explosive. Like, again, like maybe like a little bit of the hardcore energy or that crust punk energy just manifesting more in black metal overall, because this album is intense almost from start to finish, you know, minus our little trip to, Hobbiton, the Shire, whatever. It's a nice place, but yeah, the rest of this album is just out to kick your ass. As for any negatives, I mean, just a couple of minor ones. While I kind of like the fact the vocals were in the back and they sound just cavernous and just kind of harrowing at times, like they remind me a lot of like Spirit Possession or Ulthar. It's that kind of like gasping, sort of like pleading sound. But the fact they're so far in the back, sometimes they get completely lost by the blast beats and the frequent just heavy tremolos on here. And the fact that the Helm and the Bow has a guest vocalist, one Erlen Hjelvik, I'm sorry if I screwed up your name, former frontman of Kvelertak. I can't really hear him in the, blast beats and all the tremolos. But, I mean, I can't hear the vocalist on here particularly well anyway, so they both kind of just blend into mud in the background. Maybe, boosting the vocals just a little bit in the mix. And the other minor complaint is, since I've been listening to this band since the start, I kind of miss the crust punk elements on here. This one is way more geared towards black metal. Not a problem at all. Like, I think they do it really well. I just kind of like that blend before. Like, I love, DB-driven stuff, Wraith and Toxic Holocaust, and listen to Dysphere or Discharge or any of the other disc bands that worship Discharge. There's a fun energy with that. This one is just way more blasty and just kind of vicious sounding, and I like it, but there are elements I miss about their earlier sound. I
had no idea there was a guest vocalist because much like you, I couldn't really hear the vocals sometimes to begin with. And that's not, I guess, necessarily a bad thing if you don't want to make that the focal point and you want to make the music more of a focal point. I kind of get where you're going there. And the fact that this wasn't heavily crust punk laden. So, as you know, I've been late to get into black metal. One of the things I still never really got into was punk. Even crust punk. Like crust punk, I guess I can get along with a little bit more because there's an additional element to it that makes it sound just a little more filthy. But as I never really got into punk, I don't mind the fact, personally, that it was more black metal, and as I get into black metal, this is along the lines of stuff I enjoy. It's definitely riffy, and goddamn, is it fast. Yeah, I don't really have complaints. So, overall, I'm going to give it a 4. I thought it was very entertaining. Again, super aggressive, very fast. The drummer needs to take a break. Someone needs to check on him. His calf muscles may have burst through the back of his legs. I'm not 100%. It's riffy, it's dark, it's cold, it's very mean sounding, and as dynamic as it can be, I like the fact that it just for the most part is out to get you. It's out to hurt you, and very quickly. Like a bunch of rapid fire punches to the Adam's apple. It's dense, it's caustic, it's dark, it's evil, it's mean sounding, and I like all that. So 4 stars for me. If you're into bands like Spirit Possession, Watain, Ulthar, Midnight, and probably a number of bands that this guy's going to mention that I simply don't really know that much about, yeah, you're going to like this, so check it out.
Yeah, I'm going to go with a 4 as well. I really dig this. It is a bit of a different turn for them, but I think it opens up some other doors down the way just in terms of exploring more of their black metal side. This thing, I mean, as he listed off all the choice adjectives there, dark, dense, evil. It is absolutely hostile as hell,
Yes.
too. Like, the pace of this album is breakneck for the most part, with some brief moments to pretty much, like, reset your skull on your neck. Like, all right, it's still kind of attached.
Hanging by a thread. Nope, we're back.
Yeah, I do think the vocals could have come up in the mix, but I kind of like them in the back, too, in a way, because they sound kind of haunting in the back, like some, growling demon off in the distance. I like the fact that they found a good balance between just flat-out aggression, but also peppering in lots of killer riffs and dynamics. Inner War, in particular, was a big standout for me. Huge dissection vibes. If you're a big dissection fan, I'm sure you're going to find some stuff on here that you'll like. But, I mean, also Watain. I would even say a band like Sadistic Ritual, too, albeit not as thrashy as that band, but there's a very similar vibe and aggression to them. Baseline, if you like your black metal just particularly aggressive, I would say definitely check this one out. Check out their earlier stuff, too. I think it's really good. It's, different than this one. Either way, check this band out. Check out this album. It's pretty damn vicious. So, if you enjoyed this review, give it a thumbs up. And if you are new to the channel, subscribe, because we do stuff like this all the time. We are also on Patreon. If you like Doubles out there, there's a link down below, thrallsmetal.com. Our Patreon link is there. It is also on our channel, up in the banner in the bottom right-hand corner. But if you are looking for Thralls Metal stuff, you have to go to thrallsmetal.com. We have t-shirts, both old and new. The old ones are discounted, provided we have your size. And we even have hats, too. So if you're looking for any of that stuff, click the link down below. And
last but not least, as I always say, tons of stuff going on at Thralls of Metal. Album reviews, discography rankings. We will get to Meshuggah, I promise you. Nick's collection updates, states of metal, is it not metal? We've started doing some discussion type forum things, which seem to be working out, and you guys seem to like it, and we like that you like it. Live streams, because we've been going live a lot lately. We pay for StreamYard, so why not use it? So you guys have been hanging out there. We're super thankful that you guys come and hang out with us, because we do those at like 2 o'clock in the morning. And the fact that there's 60 some odd people online at 2 in the morning always baffles me, so yeah. Anyway, all this stuff we do for you guys. We appreciate you being a part of Thralls of Metal. Thank you to our family, our friends, our subscribers, and everyone that's supported us along the way. It is super awesome that you're all here. I can't believe you're all here, but you're all here, and we appreciate that.
Yeah, tons of stuff coming on the channel, and yeah, we are eternally grateful because you guys rule, and you clearly don't have great taste in YouTube channels, but we're not going to get into that. Just stay subscribed, because it could possibly get worse. I don't know. But either way, you guys are absolutely awesome, and we will catch you later.